Good Wednesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to tonight's top stories, let's head outside, take a look outside our weather window. Man, cold one out there today, and that's putting it mildly all across north central Washington. We had some very cold wind chills, and welcome to the first day of winter. Today officially kicks off winter, and it sure looks like it looking down at the Wenatchee Valley. Beautiful shot from our Sky-Fi Tower camera on Wenatchee Heights. And talk about cold overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. It is going to be frigid with those wind chills, possibly around 20 below here in the Wenatchee area, approaching 20 to 30 below and even higher as we get up into the Winthrop and Omak areas. Before we do see a warm up by this weekend. And here's your holiday travel planner if you're heading out. A lot of folks driving over the next few days, and we do expect a pretty good amount of snow on Friday and on Christmas Eve Saturday, anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of snow. That's additional as we get into the weekend. Sunday and Monday warmer before we get rain into next week, and we'll have your complete north central Washington weather forecast coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the news stories we're following for you tonight. A firefighter suffered minor injuries fighting a house fire in bitter cold and snowy conditions early yesterday morning in the Lake Wenatchee area. 5 tons of hay went up in flames outside Moses Lake late Monday night and continued to smolder into today. And 2 Wenatchee Valley men who broke into an East Wenatchee home and injured 4 people with pepper spray have been ordered into detention, one of them for more than 6 years. But first, our top story tonight, an East Wenatchee house fire this morning left 2 men displaced. Wenatchee Valley Fire Department firefighters responded to that fire about 6 a.m. in the 300 block of South Jackson Place in wind chills as low as -8 degrees. Fire Department spokeswoman Kay McKellar said the fire started in a second-floor bedroom. The 2 adult men living in the home were able to get out okay, and the Red Cross was called to assist them. The fire was under control just before 6:50 a.m. The cause of the fire is under investigation. A firefighter suffered minor injuries fighting a house fire in bitter cold and snowy conditions early yesterday morning in the Lake Wenatchee area. Lake Wenatchee Fire and Rescue said the fire in the Pine Drop Lane area on the Chihuahua Loop Road was especially challenging as the 8-degree temperatures froze hoses, air packs, trucks, and firefighters themselves. The fire district said 1 person was home at the time of the fire but was able to escape unharmed. Adding to the problems was the deep snow that made it difficult to get vehicles and equipment in and out of that site. 5 tons of hay went up in flames outside Moses Lake late Monday night and continued to smolder into today. Grant County Fire District 5 said thanks to a passerby who reported the fire, animals near the fire and a detached garage were saved. The fire district has not yet announced a cause of that fire. 2 Wenatchee Valley men who broke into an East Wenatchee home and injured 4 people with pepper spray have been ordered into detention, one of them for more than 6 years. 32-year-old Curtis Robert Ikes of Wenatchee and 35-year-old Zane Russell Grissom of East Wenatchee entered the home about 3 a.m. back on September 23rd and sprayed all 4 victims as they emerged from their bedrooms. Police say it was a planned act of domestic violence against Grissom's former partner. On Monday, Ikes pleaded guilty in Douglas County Court to a charge of armed criminal mischief on Monday and received just a 3-month jail sentence. That follows a guilty plea by Grissom in November to charges of second-degree assault, violating a court order, and tampering with a witness. Grissom was sentenced to 73.5 months in state prison. Well, when we come back, strong winds led to snow drifts and near zero visibility on the Waterville Plateau this morning and led to the closure of almost all roads and highways in the area. Washington took another big step this week toward emission-free transportation. And area first responders put together a public service announcement stressing the importance of driving sober or having a designated driver to get you and your loved ones home safe this holiday season. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Since 1932, Camp Seneca, nestled on the beautiful shores of Lake Wenatchee, has provided children grades 1 through 12 with the ideal location for kids to learn new skills, have fun, and make friends while creating memories that will last a lifetime. Camp Seneca's rustic log cabins and their staff serve to provide each group a unique summer camp experience. Register for Camp Seneca today, www.campfirencw.org.
At D.A. Davidson in Wenatchee, they believe your investment success begins with a personalized plan. A plan that is the roadmap you need to navigate your way to living your best years in retirement. D.A. Davidson can help you create a plan so you can take the time to enjoy the finer things in life. Let the financial advisors at D.A. Davidson help chart your retirement future today.
Welcome back. And in other news, strong winds led to snow drifts and near zero visibility on the Waterville Plateau this morning, where 6 people had to be rescued from multiple vehicles stranded on Highway 172. The blizzard-like conditions led to the closure of almost all roads and highways in the area. The first closure was Highway 172 between Mansfield and Farmer about 9 a.m. And then about 9:30 a.m., the Douglas County Sheriff's Office said all roads on the plateau east of Waterville and north of Highway 2 were closed, including Bridgeport Hill Road and McNeil Canyon Road. The Washington State Patrol said the blizzard-like whiteout conditions were widespread and at one point considered closing Highway 97 in northern Douglas County as well. Also problematic for motorists this morning was Pine Canyon between Orondo and Waterville, where winds were kicking up the powdery snow and causing, as you can see on that video, poor visibility. Well, Washington took another big step this week toward emission-free transportation. The Department of Ecology adopted rules on Monday that require all new light-duty vehicles sold in the state to have zero exhaust emissions by the year 2035. Oregon adopted similar rules this week following the emissions standards first put in place by California. Washington Ecology says some major automakers have already committed to selling nothing but zero-emission vehicles by that target date. The new standards require the march toward cleaner cars to begin with model year 2026, when 35% of passenger vehicles sold in Washington must emit no polluting gases. Well, with the holidays come Christmas parties and holiday cheer, oftentimes involving alcohol. Area first responders put together a public service announcement stressing the importance of driving sober or having a designated driver to get you and your loved ones home safe this holiday season.
During the holidays and every day.
Let's commit together to always drive 100% sober.
If an event includes anything that can impair driving, be sure to plan ahead.
Because a good celebration starts with a strategy to get back home safely.
That might include choosing a sober, designated driver,
calling a ride, or giving a friend the couch for the night.
Join me and so many others in our commitment to always drive sober.
And remind our friends to stay safe too.
Wishing everyone a safe and happy holiday.
You're watching the NCW Life Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCW Life Evening News. Please stay with us.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
Welcome back to the NCW Life Evening News. In tonight's features story, 40 people in Washington have died of influenza so far during this flu season, including 3 children. 3 of the deaths have occurred in central Washington. In a briefing on Monday to the Chelan Douglas Health District, Public Health Officer Dr. James Wallace said COVID infections remain low compared to last year, but seasonal flu and respiratory disease are still placing a strain on health care.
The visits that we're seeing in our hospitals, in our ambulatory care and walk-in clinics are much higher at this point in time than in usual flu seasons. Right now, at least 10% of visits are attributed to influenza-like illness. Our test positivity is high, but across the state, we note that it's come down a bit from a peak of 33.6%. Over the past week or two, we've seen a slight decrease in influenza-like illness. We're watching that closely and have several explanations for that and a little bit of optimism. Anecdotally, I've had patients say that some of their family members did get vaccinated and some didn't, and their experience is that the flu this year is less severe if you have been vaccinated. So as of the end of last week, 98% of the med-surg beds in the state were occupied and 95% of ICU beds were occupied. Call volumes are up for the coordination center that works on those transfers, and EMS I've especially worked with over the past couple of weeks and trying to figure out if there's any solution to that increased travel time for those transports, because it takes their trucks offline and limits their response capabilities for emergencies within our region. In communications with our healthcare partners, we're working hard to support them in their hospital surges, oftentimes planning for, preparing for, and trying to get through delays in transfer, as I discussed. A number, especially of the critical access hospitals, are working on expanding their scope and preparing themselves to room or to house individuals that are sicker than they normally see. And outpatient facilities I've worked with and had discussions around maintaining access and trying to keep the less severely ill patients out of emergency rooms, so our hospitals and emergency rooms can do a better job.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope your Wednesday was a great one during this holiday Christmas week, and hopefully you're getting that shopping done too. Great picture from our Badger Mountain Sky-Fi Tower camera looking down at Wenatchee. Of course, the snow-covered wheat fields in Douglas County, and then those broken clouds. We did see a shot or two at the sun today, but boy, it didn't do us much good as far as temperatures go. 8 degrees, our unofficial high today. 32 is where we should be for this time of year, and 55, our record high. That was set in 1974. We did dip below zero this morning, 2 below at the airport this morning. 24 is our normal low temperature, and 6 below. We weren't that far off. That's our record set in 1983. Did pick up another trace of precipitation from that snow that we picked up overnight. That now gets us to 24 inches of snow this season. Sunrise 7:45, and the sun set this afternoon at 4:13. Taking a look at your Thursday temperatures, I wish I could tell you we're going to see an improvement in temperatures tomorrow, but as you can see, not going to happen, at least in the short term. 7s for Moses Lake and Ephrata, 6 degrees the high in Quincy. Isn't this map unbelievable with all these cold temperatures? 5 in Wenatchee, 4 for Cashmere and Leavenworth, and not much better in Chelan tomorrow with a high temperature of 5 degrees. Tonight we expect partly cloudy skies, bitterly cold temperatures. Temperatures -5 to -10. We could see wind chills between 15 and 25 below getting into tomorrow morning. And look at all this cold air sinking all the way south into northern Texas overnight. For Thursday, cloudy. We will see snow develop late in the day. It's from this frontal boundary right here, and that will move our way. This is about 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. As we mentioned, going to be cold tomorrow with highs only around 5 degrees. For Friday, here comes the snow. This is your morning commute. This is around noon, and then at around 7 p.m., things will be tapering off. Expect about 1 to 3 inches of snow on Friday. High temperatures in the low teens for Friday. Getting into Saturday and Christmas Eve, cloudy skies as this area of low pressure begins to move our way. We could see another 1 to 3 inches of snow, but notice the rain, especially in the Cascades. That will be our new forecast as we get you into our next week. But let's talk about Christmas. Cloudy skies. We will see a chance for scattered rain and snow. We are going to warm up on Sunday too. How about mid-30s for high temperatures on Christmas? Won't that feel nice? For Monday then, cloudy skies as our next round of storminess brings some clouds our way. We'll see rain and snow likely. Going to warm up for Monday too. We're expecting highs in the upper 30s on Monday. And then for Tuesday, there's that storm system, and it's going to push a lot of rain into Washington State. Here we go with rain mixed with snow during the day, but high temperatures not going to be bad. We're looking at temps near 40 degrees. Let's take a look now at your 7-day forecast brought to you by Apple Valley Honda. And get ready for one of the coldest nights that we have seen in a long time in the Wenatchee area. 8 below our overnight low, 5 degrees with snow developing tomorrow, 13 snow likely both Friday and into our Christmas Eve. But notice the warm up, 13 Friday, 26 degrees the temperature on Christmas Eve. And then on Sunday for your Christmas, a 50% chance of scattered rain mixed with snow, and 33 rain likely then on both Monday and Tuesday with warmer temperatures, both days highs in the upper 30s. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
It's the NCWLIFE Community Calendar, a presentation of Central Washington Water. Ring in the new year with the Paper Boys, New Year's Eve at the Icicle Creek Center for the Arts. The Paper Boys will bring their heady blend of country, folk, Celtic, and rock and roll to the Snowy Owl Theater. 90% of the proceeds goes directly into research to eliminate cystic fibrosis. Tickets are $95 with beer and wine included, or $55 for the no-host bar. Tickets can be had at icicle.org. Now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a happy Wednesday to you. The Seattle Kraken made it 2 wins in a row at home with a 5-2 decision over St. Louis last night. Seattle jumped out to an early lead and just kept adding on with 5 different players finding the back of the net.
Won the Selke Trophy as the top defensive forward same season. Donato, right in, he scores! 4 in a row! For the first time in his career for number 9, Ryan Donato has goals in 4 straight. Out of the corner, Wenberg. Up top it goes, Will Borgen. A shot rubbed out O'Reilly, they score! Thompson Soucy! The Souse is loose! 10 minutes left in the second period, 2-0, Seattle. Geekie awaiting, a pinch by Pareko, he punishes Geekie, a chance, Sprong, scores! Daniel Sprong on the down and out, 3:02 left in the second period, 3-0. Loose play, McCann pounces on it, his shot is blocked by Pareko, he gets it back off the paddle, and in! Pinball wizard, Jared McCann is finding Logan Brown, he'll move in, moving in is Pareko, he scores! As a trailer and a bullet from St. Louis's number 55, Colton Pareko. Braden Shen, Krug, McCann's up, shot scores, a bullet to the shelf, Pavel Buchnevich. Double team. Now, out to center, yawning cage for Turbo. No penalty shot, but empty net goal. Brandon Tanev makes it 5-2. That's Kraken hockey, baby. 5-2 over St. Louis.
Coach Dave Hackstall says he was fond of 2 periods of play, but felt the boys let up a little bit in the third. He says that's something to work on before their game next coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, the first 2 periods we were pretty good. We did what we had to do in terms of overall pace of play, energy. We did we had a lot of good opportunities in the second period. But also hidden in there is some opportunities that we gave up inside where Jonesy was good for us, especially at a key time of the game. At 2-0, he made a couple of real good saves on the inside for us. So it's a great win. There's a lot of pieces that we like out of this hockey game. There's also going to be some things that we have to clean up as we go into Vancouver in 2 nights.
Yeah, next up, Seattle plays in Vancouver tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. You can watch it on Root Sports Northwest. Gonzaga set an NCAA record for consecutive home wins with an 85-75 victory over Montana last night. It was the 72nd straight win in the McCarthy Center for the Bulldogs. Drew Timme led the way with a season-high 32 points. Weather and the holidays kept the kennel from being all the way full last night, but Drew Timme says the fans are a big part of winning 72 straight at home.
Obviously, that's something that no one really can say they've ever done. It's a testament just to Coach and how he's ran the ship, man. He's just always consistent, and this place is... We didn't have the kennel today, and this place was still rocking at parts, and it's just a special thing about this community, and I think it's kind of just our way of saying thank you to the community for always supporting us and sticking by us no matter what, because without them, this isn't possible, and it's just something that it's truly amazing.
Coach Mark Few says they had to turn to Timme inside when the outside shots just refused to fall.
Oh, again, he's been delivering through this whole run, and I mean, we probably leaned on him a little too much tonight, but you know, it was tough making threes tonight. You know, we had a lot of good guys taking them. We just weren't knocking them down, and that's kind of, in some instances, that's what they were giving us. And we had really good stretches of defense, especially the last 15 minutes of the first half was good, and then had a stretch in there in the second half of pretty good defense. But then, you know, they really got clicking in the second half. We didn't do a good job late, that last 10 minutes of getting stopped. So that's why the lead kept shrinking.
Other men's college basketball, Eastern Washington had 6 players in double figures in a 130-54 win over Northwest Indian. Bench players Imhotep George and Dane Erikstrup led the way for the Eagles with 28 and 21 points, respectively. Coming up on the schedule tonight, Alaska Airlines Arena, Heck Edmondson Pavilion, the Washington Huskies host 23rd rated Auburn. That's on the Pac-12 network coming up at 6 o'clock. Women's college basketball last night, Delia Daniels had 15 points, while Lauren Schwartz chipped in 11 as Washington beats SIU Edwardsville 71-40. Eastern Washington topped Utah State 84-54 with Leah Anderson leading the way with 21 points. Jaleesa Lawrence added 15 for the Eagles. On the schedule earlier today, Washington State was on the road at Houston. We'll get you scores tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Haley Van Lith and the Louisville Cardinals in Chicago to face DePaul right about now. Also 22nd ranked Gonzaga hosting Montana tonight. That is coming up at 6 o'clock. Eastmont boys basketball team played for the Igisa Winter Shootout Championship today. The Wildcats topped Meade last night, 63-58 to advance to today's title game against U-High. Eastmont High School, the location there. Wenatchee beat Sela, and we're playing for the, 7th place, I want to say. 7th place earlier today. We'll get you the scores coming up tomorrow. Eastmont girls played for 3rd place earlier today after falling to Post Falls in the semifinals last night. 66-46 Wildcats were to take on Federal Way today at Eastmont High School. Wenatchee, final game after a loss to Curtis last night, 66-29. They were playing for 7th place as well against Sela. We'll have more on that tomorrow. Other prep girls basketball action last night. Afraida topped Royal. Cashmere clocked Chelan. Okanagan beat Omak. Waterville Mansfield and Manson were postponed because of a closure of Pine Canyon. Brewster beat Reardon. Moses Lake Christian topped Bridgeport. Moses Lake's game at East Lake also canceled due to poor road conditions. Coming up today, scheduled games. Manson at Wilson Creek. Quincy visiting Ephrata. Some cancellations on there as well. Turning to the girls scoreboard on the Les Schwab scoreboard from yesterday. Liberty Bell beat Bush. Ephrata topped Royal. Quincy blew out Cascade. Chelan clobbered Cashmere. Dylan Jay hit 8 3-pointers in that game. 33 points on the night for Jay. Okanagan won the backyard brawl over Omak. Waterville Mansfield and Manson were canceled. Brewster beat Reardon. Moses Lake Christian caught Bridgeport. That's a look at sports news. Grant, get back to you.
A bunch, Eric, and as we leave you tonight, as you know, Snoqualmie Pass was closed yesterday because of snow and avalanche danger. Well, the Washington Department of Transportation released a video depicting just what it took to reopen I-90 yesterday afternoon. Take a look. Now let's check in with Dan Koontz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. On the next edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, it's our friend Beth Stipe, the Executive Director of the Community Foundation in North Central Washington, and we're going to talk about
Give NCW. There's still time to give to your favorite nonprofits in North Central Washington, and we're going to talk about our newly released grants from the Regional Impact Grant Program.
Almost $500,000. That's pretty good.
And more.
And more. Next edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Grant, back to you.
Dan and Beth, thank you so much. And that will do it for our newscast tonight. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for being with us, and have a great night.